Hello, my name's like Cadman. I live in the UK, but I've been visiting East Africa for the last 36 years, doing what you might call missionary work, traveling all over the countries. The last 18 years in Maine, it's been in Uganda. And a few years ago, Margaret Goremi emailed me to say that she set up her own company for car hire. I was delighted, and I've been using her with great joy and great success ever since. Part of our work is to travel into the remote areas. We'll show you a little bit more of that in the moment. But they're dirt roads, difficult roads sometimes when it rains, when it's heavy rain and so on. The driving can be quite challenging. Sometimes it can be fun but interesting. And all the time we have found the vehicles that we have been provided very reliable. We've had one puncture, I think, in that time. If you ever have a problem with the vehicle and we don't, you ring and it all gets sorted out. The support that's available from Maromi Investments, Maromi Car Hire is just really excellent. The pickups, transfers from the airport at Entebbe to the hotel in Kampala. Drivers are very good drivers. I've got to know them over the years. They're very friendly. They're very helpful. They're supportive. They drive well. They're always there, always punctual, take you in. And at the end, we go and they take us back again to Entebbe. Again, always punctual, always on time. They know the little ways around Kampala to make that journey a lot easier. So my experience, and that's why I'm here testifying and supporting Maromi Investments, is excellent. It's outstanding. The integrity with the business and the reliability of all the paperwork and the support is exceptional. And you need that in Uganda, you need that in Africa, and that's what you will find. And the way it's handled, I find such an assurance, such a confidence-making thing when I'm there, that I know whatever the issues are, they will be solved. I do self-drive hire, but obviously now safaris are being organised and being arranged, and that's what I wanted to show you a little bit by showing you the pictures, some of the pictures that I've taken over all those years, because we've visited some of the areas where this that are available on the safari. So what I want to do, and that's what you can do with Zoom, is I want to screen share, and here we are. If I share that, you can see you've got Maromi Investments in there, and that's the name of the company, and that's their logo. And then here's me. I hope you don't mind seeing me. That was taken by a young man who borrowed my camera and asked if he could take a picture of me. That's up in the refugee camps in Rhino Camp, uh, up in the north. It's 1,000 kilometer journey from Kampala to Arua, and then an hour and a half drive each day into there. We've been 4 times, and we've been and come back 4 times, and it's reliable and it's been excellent. And that's the picture of me when that's the Fortuna that we now use. It's a bit dirty because of they always arrive immaculately clean, but I'm afraid we'd been through some mud that day and it's a little bit dirty. You can see the black clouds and the heavy rain just above. So that's me there. That's to prove I was there. So that's in the refugee camps, and there is the vehicle, I say, a bit dirty, so it's been through the mud up in the refugee camps right in the north. And at the left you can see some of the houses that the refugees have made, which is quite astonishing. The way they've coped, the resilience of those people is quite remarkable. So that's Rhino Camp up in the north. In contrast, that's in Mutukula. Same vehicle in Mutukula. Mutukula is on the Tanzanian border, way down the south. You can go to Mutukula and then go off into Tanzania. So we've been north and we've been south. We've also been west to Kabale, and we've been to the east up near Mbali and beyond through Soronko. And what you will find, and that's where we are, beyond Soronko are the famous Sippy Falls. That's uh, one of the big falls that comes from the road level and goes down, and that's one of the falls at Sippy. That's quite stunning, and there are places people can stay up there. We support a school, and that's not on this video, at a place called Bwaga, which is between Soronko and Sippy Falls before you climb up the big hairpin bends. That's another picture of Sippy Falls, and that's the higher fall that's up. There are 2 or 3 falls there, so the overall height is immense, and you can walk up. It's a bit moist, it's a bit damp up there when particularly in the rainy season when there's been rain. what you find is the beauty, not only the large scale falls, but also the beautiful red flowers, which I love. And these are all my own photographs, so no copyright issues. And we found up near Sippy Falls. In contrast, we've got Sissia Falls. They're very near. They're not so famous. You turn right in Buaga, and it's about a couple of kilometres up the dirt road, and you can find Sissia Falls. That's the lower bit, but then you've got this impressive waterfall that's actually higher than Sippy Falls. They go across the wire, across the falls. We've seen that. You can see a man the other side. So you've got lots of waterfalls all up in that part of Uganda on the foothills really of Mount Elgon. Mount Elgon has got the widest base of any freestanding mountain in Uganda. In Africa, it's not as high as Kilimanjaro, it's not as high as Mount Kenya, it's not as high as Mount Rwenzori, but it's got the biggest base, and it's got all sorts of interesting things and geography to see around. So those are two places that you can see on one of the safaris. You'll end up probably in Lake Victoria. That's a beautiful calm day with one of the boats they use either for their fishing or for their taxis, if you like, ferries to take people across the lake. And that was a beautiful calm day at Lake Victoria. That's a picture of the Ginger Yacht Club. Lovely place to eat if you get the opportunity in Ginger, right by the shores of the lake that we've just looked at. The lovely breeze on a hot day is very refreshing. There's the boat again on the lake. The River Nile looking down towards the Owen Falls. Now that's an older photograph before they built the new bridge, and I haven't got a picture of the new bridge, but it's there to go across the River Nile. If you look up, and again, the wildlife is amazing. This is a flock of pelicans. Pelicans are really big birds, but they flock together. And if you look, they fly around. So you need to keep your eyes down to look and your eyes up, because you never know quite what you're going to see as you travel around Uganda and you're on a safari, particularly with somebody that knows where they're going and they can show you what you need to look. As we've said, the drivers are very good and very reliable. Itanda Falls, impressive on the River Nile. About an hour or so's drive from Ginger, and very worth a visit. I'm not sure I fancy the white water rafting, which is possible over there, because you can see the size of the waves, and you can walk, if you walk all the way along the river at the edge and until the falls are finished, and they doing fishing there at the bottom. What you find with Uganda, as well as the big things, as we've said, here's the little things, and here's a little dragonfly found on a leaf. Just the colors are just beautiful, and the lace type wings that you can see through. And here's a whole group of them, all different colors, all on a leaf, which we spotted. That was the Itanda. And just the beauty of the whole country, which is why it's worth going on a safari there. And we would recommend, or I would recommend, Maromi Investments, because of their reliability, their integrity, the quality of the vehicles, and the personnel that they use. Equator. This is down near Kasese on the road between Kasese and Kasinga Channel, and lots of people stop there and have their pictures taken by the new equator sign that they've put there. There are different ones, but that's the new one on that road. Elephants. This one actually is near on the River Nile in the background at a place called Pukwach, going up towards Arua, where there's a bridge across the river, and that elephant was standing there pretty near the edge. So we stopped, and that's again my own photograph. Down again near Katwe, certainly near Kasese, we find Katwe, and that's got the salt light where they actually crop the salt. There are only two in the world, I think. This is the famous one. And you can see the lorry, and the people work. There's a cooperative down there, and they actually go in those pans, they're called, and they crop the salt, and it's an industry that is used in that part of Uganda. Beautiful bright red bird that was taken from a distance, so it's not perfect in focus. There's a little lake at Catway, as well as Big Lake Edward, where you get flamingos. And that was there sitting on the bush. Lots of lovely wildlife there, and you can see flamingos. And there, you get as near as you can in Lake Nakuru, or Lake Bagiri in Kenya. Elephants are there, and you can see them. These are grazing in the lush grassland. Hippos too in Lake Edward, all gathered together. Nice to pose for my photograph. The bird life, I love my birds. This is a pied kingfisher hovering, looking. Just happened to be that near and get him so you can see the wings, you can see the beauty of them. That's the joy of going on a safari around Uganda. There's so much to see, and again, Maromi will serve you well. Malachite kingfisher, again on Kasinga Channel, not like the English kingfisher, which is much more turquoise. That's a darker, deeper blue. But you can see in contrast that very bright orange beak. He's sitting on a boat there, looking for some food, I presume, at some point. The famous sacred ibis, you see those. You see crested cranes as well as you drive around. So there's lots of bird life, lots of there to see. This was pretty near the road. The final option, and this is a bit of a cheat really. This is in the zoo at Entebbe, which is really worth a visit. They've got lions there, they've got all sorts of things. They've got chimpanzees, they've got whatever. But I went to see the shoebill, which is very difficult to see in the wild, but they've got three there with that huge bill. Being a big bird lover, and this is the shoebill. I've got another picture of the shoebill. This one looks a bit worried who's taking pictures of him, but they are really big, with such a big beak with a hook on the end, and they're really quite remarkable. So that's the Shoebill. That's in the zoo at Entebbe, and this is in the zoo in Entebbe. Maybe you can't tell the difference between the one in the wild, but this is an elephant that we got pretty near to in the zoo. Happily, there's a big ditch between us and the elephant. Weaver bird, but this was actually taken in Bhutto in Kampala, quite near the city centre, not far from the main road and not far from the bypass. So wherever you go, even everywhere in Uganda, you will find fascinating wildlife to see. And travel around, as well as the beauty of the scenery, which we've seen with the waterfalls, and we've actually seen it with Lake Victoria and Itanda Falls. That's it. Maromi Safaris, www.maromisafaris.com. That's the name of the company. I'm going to leave that on the end. I'm going to stop sharing. I hope you've enjoyed that. Please, I'm serious. I've done it for so many years now, and it's been so reliable. And that's why when you're there in Africa, you need confidence, you need reassurance, and you get that from Maromi Investments, from Maromi Hard Car Hire, and you'll get that from Maromi Safaris, and you'll really enjoy it. Thank you.